Alongside Craig Button, TSN's annual Core 4 project has launched, and our focus today is on the top 50 players in the NHL who are under the age of 24 as of the start of the season. Craig, this had to be an incredibly tough call for the #1 spot. Why did you choose Connor Bedard over Quinn and Jack Hughes?
You're exactly right. It was a very tough decision. Because when you consider that Quinn Hughes right now, the best player in the NHL. You consider Jack Hughes at the start of the season before his injury, the best player in the NHL. But this is about the future. And Connor Bedard will be the best player out of this group of players under the age of 24. He's a generational talent. And what he's done early on in his NHL career, certainly expectations were high, but he has met them and maybe even exceeded them. Because when you think about all the significant offensive categories, Connor Bedard is in the 95th percentile of all players in the National Hockey League. That in and of itself is impressive. The other part of Connor Bedard, the generational player, he also represents something significant for the Chicago Blackhawks. And like Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid with the Pittsburgh Penguins and Edmonton Oilers previously, he represents his great hope for future success. He's the player you're building around, and certainly, like Crosby, like McDavid, that's why Bedard is considered to be a generational player and a player that can lead his Chicago Blackhawks to glory that they've seen in previous years.
Bold choice going with Bedard, but I got to respect it, even though Quinn Hughes, Craig, as you know, is clearly in the Art Ross picture about a quarter of the way into the NHL season. So if the decision for #1 was tough, the choice for #2 must have been just as close. What separated Quinn and Jack, and how did you ultimately pick Quinn ahead of his brother?
It was difficult. And, you know, Quinn Hughes, as you just pointed out, he's in the Art Ross conversation. There's only been one defenseman in the history of the National Hockey League that's led the league in scoring, and that was a gentleman by the name of Bobby Orr. So that's the category of player that Quinn Hughes is in. I mean, he drives play in such a significant way. Keep this in mind. I mean, no player in the NHL has the puck on his stick more than Quinn Hughes. And no player in the NHL has a lower turnover rate. So it's not just that he has the puck, it's not just that he produces points, he does it in such a highly efficient manner. And when you think about a defenseman, a #1 superstar defenseman, that's a little bit of the nod, even though he's a little bit older than Jack, and Jack is a superstar in his own right. But just the present ability of Quinn Hughes to drive play in such a significant way gave him the slightest of edges over the younger brother, Jack.
Now, you also graded these 50 players as part of this exercise, and only 4 on the list earned a AAA or superstar grade. Tim Stützle of the Sens got one. Why does he belong in the company of names like Bedard and Hughes, Craig?
Well, you think about Timmy Superstar, and last year I think he clearly showed that he was moving into that category. This year he's done nothing to dispel that notion. And everything he does in the game, the way he drives play in such a significant way, he can make plays, he can score goals, he's exciting, he can handle the puck, and he's a big-time competitor. That's what superstars have. They have that inner drive and that ability to make differences in the games in ways that a lot of other players, most other players can't. And Tim Stützle at a very young age has shown that he is superstar quality.
Tim Stützle just keeps improving. He's on pace for well over 100 points, which would smash the 90 points that he produced last season. For the entire Core 4 project, be sure to check out tsn.ca throughout the week. He's our Director of Scouting, Craig Button.